YouTube, man, what's going on? It's LNH back with another video, and this is a crazy update because Bronny James has just had his official debut coming back from an injury, and things got real interesting. So let's get right into it and break down the lies that they told you about Bronny James. Now, first and foremost, man, a lot of people expectations were way too high for this game. This dude has been injured for a while now, of course, tearing his meniscus, and a lot of people thought he would just come back, score 30 points in his first game and things would be great. It's really not how these type of games go, and of course with him not playing with the team for such a long time, you're going to lose a little bit of that chemistry here. Now, after watching the entire game, there were a ton of interesting points and a lot of things that happened, but you guys know who pulled up to the game, man. Drake pulled up to the game, and LeBron of course pulled up to the game. And you know, if Drake is pulling up to your game, that's going to be a ton of pressure on you as well to perform. You got to perform well, and it was tough for Bronny to do that, being that he had limited minutes. A lot of people are expecting him to go crazy on the court, but if he's not really getting on the court and getting that type of playing time, of course it's going to be tough for him to actually go out there. Now, he actually ended up scoring about 7 points in that game, and he had about 15 minutes of playing time. Now, it's really interesting because, of course, that is not a lot of PT, especially in high school and how the game moves. And it was tough for Bronny James really to go out there and do his thing on the court. Now, of course, I think in the near future, he will be actually getting more playing time. But one, it was tough because this was a championship game as well. So this was the championship game for their division. And of course, again, that's going to be more added pressure because you're playing against a solid team. Now, one of the most curious things that a lot of people didn't notice is I believe this is the same team Dior Johnson at least at one time played for. That Centennial High School team, I believe Dior Johnson did attend that school at one point. I'm not sure exactly why he wasn't there or if this is a different team, but that was crazy to me too, and I wish them two would have actually got to match up because of course they did play back on the same AAU team back in the day. Now, it was a really good game and ended up being 80-72, but man, we got to talk about Amari Bailey. Now, he was doing his thing on the court, he was throwing the ball down, but man, a lot of people are actually calling this guy somewhat of a ball hog, and we got to talk about it. Now, of course, him being there and playing with Bronny James, they haven't played together in a while, so of course Amari Bailey is used to doing this, getting his points, really doing his thing, whether he's going against a ton of defenders or not. Now, of course, with that being said, Bronny coming right back, they probably need to get back in the rhythm of playing with each other, and there honestly were some times where Bronny James was open and really wasn't getting the ball like that, but I think that's to be expected. And even when he played prior to this, I think the same thing was happening, especially when Amari Bailey was playing with him. Now, Amari Bailey actually ended up dropping around 33 points per game, and he was definitely exciting to watch, but I just wish they would have looked for Bronny James a tad bit more to try to get him involved in some of these plays. Now, of course, him being his first game back, he's going to have some jitters, maybe not play his best, and of course, he didn't even get that many minutes, but I think if they can really get him involved, it can help them start to win games. Of course, the score being 80-72, and they ended up losing. Clearly, what Amari Bailey was doing was somewhat working because he was scoring points, but again, if you're not really getting your teammates involved like that, and of course, clearly here, this dude is a score-first point guard. He's the one that's trying to get to the hoop, get to the bucket, and score his points. And it's tough when you have a player like that because then the other players, maybe the shooters on the side, are not going to get the ball as much. But Amari Bailey did do his thing, and he was able to really finish the ball. Even when he was forcing some shots up, he still was able to put the ball in the basket, which honestly, in my opinion, was very impressive. Now, when a player has limited minutes, what it can show you is how good of an IQ they have. And I think that's one thing that Bronny James for sure has once he came back and showed his game. Now, having only playing around 15 minutes, being able to score about 7 points, that shows that the shots and the quality that he was taking was pretty good. And I think that just shows if he gets some more playing time and he gets back in the rotation, gets his feet under him, and starts actually playing a lot more, he's going to be able to develop into a player that is very good. And you guys know IQ really runs the game. At the end of the day, if you have a really good IQ, you can play at any level. Being that, of course, height and all these other factors, athleticism, man, those play a huge factor into the game of basketball, but there are plenty of players who don't have the most athleticism, but their IQ is off the charts and they're able to play with the best of them. And I think that's what really makes Bronny special. That good decision making is going to take him a long way. In addition, this guy did hit a clutch three, and he was definitely a factor playing in the game, but he just really didn't get the minutes that I wanted to see. And when Drake's there and they have a ton of people there, man, I thought this would be more hype hyped up. It was really interesting how we really didn't get any type of advance notice of Bronny James actually coming back. Now, a lot of people were speculating when he was going to come back, but the reality of the situation was no one even knew. He got cleared to play a while ago, and a lot of people were wondering, why is this guy not officially back on the court? What is going on with him? But of course, he ended up coming back tonight, and he really did his thing on the court, and I applaud him for that. Now, again, I even heard the expectations and a lot of people saying he was overrated from this play. But again, it is his first game back. We have to take that in account and just realize that he has other games that he's going to get to play. This first game is not the most important. I really want to see over a long stretch of time how this guy has improved. Now, for one, he definitely looks like he got stronger and for sure has been in the gym since that injury. Now, it wasn't the worst injury in the world, but of course, you don't want to come back too early from anything. And that's why I think he really took that time to rest, recover, and make sure his body was right, because as an athlete you have to make sure you take care of that. You don't want to come back too early and get re-injured, and then you're going to have a ton of problems moving forward. Where Bronny took his time to actually come back and played pretty well in this game, looked 100% healthy, and there was no doubt in my mind that this guy is going to take over very soon. Now, a lot of people are wondering, man, who's really going to be the leader of the team once Amari Bailey graduates? And it is tough for me to decide this. Now, on one hand, I want to say Bronny James, but it's tough because you have to have this type of leadership skills, and you have to be the type of player that just takes the ball to the hoop and is really aggressive. And at times, I don't see that from Bronny. Now, being that he had limited minutes, of course, this is skewed, and we really can't determine anything off of this one exact game, but I would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive, maybe trying to call for the ball, and I want his teammates to get him more involved. I think one thing is his teammates really don't seem like they're looking for him all the time, which can be tough for Bronny because of course he's not going to be able to score as many points, get involved. And like I said, even prior to Bronny James coming back from this injury, when he was playing in the beginning of the season before everything got shut down, in my opinion, it was the same exact way. There were a lot of times where it looked like they really weren't looking for Bronny, and he kind of had to make his own shots and get those little points. And again, that comes with IQ, taking the right shots. Now, Amari Bailey, on the other hand, a lot of times I think he was forcing up shots. But again, when you're the star player on the team, that's what you do. A lot of times you're going to take shots that don't always look the best, but he's still going to score a number of points. And I think him scoring 30 points shows, man, he has clearly been the leader on the team and improved a ton. I've seen this guy for a while now, and I think he's definitely improved and worked on his game like crazy. Now, I think the worst thing that could happen for Bronny is if actually someone else comes and transfers to Sierra Canyon. I really want to see this dude at least next year, because of course the season pretty much is over. They don't have any more games to play. Man, I want to see him actually come out and be the leader of the team. Maybe even play that point guard position and really dominate. I think we just haven't seen Bronny being put in a place where he's actually the main guy on the court to score the ball. We've seen it in a couple of his AAU games, and when he played for that one AAU team that was not Strive for Greatness, I believe it was the Blue Chips at the time, this dude was really the guy on the court, and it was crazy exciting to watch him play and actually take some initiative. So for sure, I think when Amari Bailey graduates, it's going to be a toss-up, but hopefully Bronny can really seize that opportunity to be the leader on the team, man, and I think it's going to prove a lot of people wrong. Now, Bronny is actually considered right now a 4-star recruit, and him being back and not playing for a while, I'm sure that had a ton to do with it, but man, that's what they have him listed as. You guys let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about that ranking, that 4-star recruit ranking, as well as his debut? How do you think he did? How do you think Amari Bailey did? And what do you think about this squad? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, get a notification every time I upload a new video. So LNH, I'm out.